Alright guys, and welcome back to Armoured Warfare, and today we're going to be taking up the light tank class of vehicle. This is a class that's quite different to the others. It varies massively between the vehicles of what is in it and what is not. And, well, these two games I've got for you today are completely different vehicles. Totally different. The Stingray 2 and the Begleitpanzer. We'll get to the differences between them a bit later. But the light tank class is a bit of an odd one. It's the class that everybody sits there and goes, well, how do I play it? What am I meant to do in a light tank? It just seems like a bigger AFV with a slower firing gun. But that's not necessarily, well, it's true, but it's not necessarily true. They're quite a good class if you can get them right. So the Stingray 2, as you can see here, it's a very mobile vehicle, very, very mobile, and it has a ridiculously good turret traverse speed. You can't, like, outturn this thing. The hull traverse coupled with the turret traverse is insanely good, and that 105mm gun that it gets is very, very powerful. It's about 400 penetration with about 470 alpha damage on a 5.55 second reload. That's insanely fast, and the accuracy is not bad either. The accuracy is quite good. Aim time is very good. Coupled with the turret traverse speed, there you go, look at that speed of the turret, it's about 66 degrees. Coupled with that speed, that means you can easily and quickly lock onto a new target, which is really helpful for a light tank of this. Smoke grenades as well, another integral part of the light tank class. AFVs sometimes get 1, the MBTs get about 1 discharge, light tanks get 3, and you know how effective smoke grenades are. You get spotted, and you just go, ba-dum. Drop your smoke grenades, you become instantly unspotted depending on where you're being spotted from, and you can back up. Another thing that I really like about the light tanks is the really good acceleration in reverse. It allows you to quickly get into cover, quickly move out of danger in reverse, still pointing your good armour at them and keeping your turret forward, but you can quickly reverse back out of danger, and it's really, really nice. But the guns are never good enough to get through the front of an MBT, which is something that I've noticed. But you can get the accuracy of this vehicle, as you'll see right here. The accuracy of the vehicle can lead to good critical shots. 449 crit on that T80 doing turret ring damage to him, which is quite good. So he's either wasted his repair kit straight away, or he's got a damaged turret ring. But we're going to have to sit here because we can't advance into the face of these MBTs. Look how many are on the minimap. We've got a T80, a Leopard 2, Stingray, a BMD behind him, and another T80. There's no way we're going to be able to advance into them in our Stingray 2. We may have a good applique armour, yes, but, you know, we're not going to be able to go at them and kill them. We'll have to straggle them one by one. So I'm taking just nice shots into the side when they make a little mistake here and there. Just punishing for them those small mistakes, but the accuracy is not tank destroyer standard. But it is good enough to get through, say, that critical shot that I put onto that T80 before, or that little track shot into the Leopard 2. Now that I'm spotted, quickly reverse behind the cover. I do know they have an Acacia and a Palmaria as artillery, but quickly become unspotted and come back out quite nicely. The problem with light tanks as well is, though, that you have to get your friendlies to spot for you. They haven't got the view range that an AFV has, or say a tank destroyer, but they have got better than an MBT on their view range. So you're going to have to really rely on your team to be able to spot for you to get these shots out, which is quite another big part of these vehicles. Well, for every vehicle, there's a lot on teamwork. Teamwork is integral. Without teamwork, you will never win. That's why you see when these large platoons are playing together, 3 people in a PvP, they generally do really well. It's because they're playing together. They're playing with each other, and they're using each other for help and support and whatever. Which is something that is quite difficult to do with a random team that you've never met before. Some of which may not speak a word of English, which is quite a problem. But you need to be able to do this teamwork to get these light tanks to work. That's probably why a lot of people struggle with them, is because they rely on a lot of teamwork to get the light tank class to work, depending on what tank you're in. The Begleitpanzer, for instance, is... I personally wouldn't say it's a light tank. I would say it's an AFV, but as an AFV, it might be a bit overpowered. Nonetheless, I still think it's an absolutely brilliant machine for a light tank, and the 3 smoke discharges is so helpful, along with the amazing ability that the light tanks get. They get a... Sorry, excuse me. They get an acceleration and a max speed buff. I think it was something like 200% maximum speed, or acceleration, sorry. They get a double acceleration. They get something like 20% extra max speed or something, or something like that. And then they get a 50% reduction on all terrain, I think it is. So they can accelerate faster on all terrain, which is really helpful. For 5 seconds, it really allows you to put yourself into combat if you're getting far behind. And it really allows you to sort of get out of a situation when you need to. It does allow for that quick extra boost of mobility that the light tank class really, really does find helpful. It's good as well on the Begleitpanzer, because that thing's more of an AFV. See here? Throw on our light tank ability. Quickly zip into here. Good mobility at high speed as well. The light tanks really do traverse at high speed very, very nicely, which is something that I quite like, because some AFVs, for instance, don't turn at high speed. You go to turn and they just go, whoa, like the Fox. Fox, for instance, it's a wheeled vehicle, high speed, about 100 kilometers per hour. You go to turn and it just goes straight. It does not turn. You have to slow down. One thing about light tanks is they can handle high speed very nicely. They can handle high speed nicely. They can turn at high speed quite well, and they actually have quite a good ability for their speed. When a vehicle moves off and accelerates, the dispersion when you're moving of your gun increases. AFVs, probably, you know this quite well on your autocannons. Light tanks, it doesn't. They can keep on the move at high speed quite efficiently with their gun. The gun's aiming reticle doesn't bloom as much as any other class. I think it's about 50% reduction in bloom. It only starts to really become a large bloom at high speed when they're going downhill, for instance. But look there, when turning, it's the same, but it's not particularly inaccurate, is it, while it's moving, as you can see. Spin the gun around, T80, nice rear of the vehicle. Fine accuracy on the move there. We were hitting about 40 kph downhill and we had fairly good accuracy. That's the sort of accuracy an MBT would be happy to have while he's stationary. Switch over to heat rounds, of course, because of the one and only artillery. 577 damage. The 105mm gun is perfect for a light tank. I'd be happy to have this gun on MBT, not gonna lie, it's pretty damn good. High rate of fire with good alpha damage and a satisfactory penetration. Well, above satisfactory, I'd say. It's good. There we go. Finish that off. 4,174 damage and 3 kills. There goes the BMD4. We played that game quite nicely. We sat at the back on the rock. Not too far away from the combat that we wouldn't be able to pick it up, but far enough that if we were spotted, the MBTs wouldn't be inclined to go for us. Dealing out quite a nice amount of damage, critical hits to those MBTs that were on those rocks. And then when the time was right, we pushed up with the main battle tanks, overtook them, went round, down took the artillery, took the T-80s out, and generally went through the enemy lines like that, using our good mobility to get around the map. And now we're probably going to move on to our Begleitpanzer, but first we'll have a look at our post-game stats, because everyone likes to be able to see what we did, when the game loads, of course. But yeah, overall, the light tanks are very, very capable. If they were incapable class, I would say light tanks are incapable because of this. But they're very, very good. The VFM, for instance, a very, very good light tank. Very good frontal armour, very nice gun, good amount of smoke. It's a brilliant all-round vehicle, the VFM. As such, the Stingray 2. It's more underperforming as the VFM, of course. It's a bit of a bad comparison. The Stingrays are underperforming. They don't have the armour of the VFM or anything like that, but they do get... Well, the Stingray 2 gets an applique. We did do top damage in the game, of course, in our tier 7-8 match, which is always a nice thing to get done. We always want to do top damage, 4,160. But yeah, Stingray and Stingray 2 are both underperforming light tanks. It's a bit sad, because they do have a lot of potential. If the Stingray was more like the Stingray 2, then it would be way better. A high turret traverse is always beautiful. I love it. That's one problem that I suffer with on the Begleitpanzer, is that it does suffer from a low traverse speed, or low turret traverse speed, so I say. So when you're trying to go round an enemy vehicle as such, it does become difficult to get the gun on target sometimes. You do have to do a lot of hull traversing, which does bloom the gun a bit, but the aim times of these guns are quite good, so you can get that down quite quickly. But here we are. We're on Port Storm. We are top tier again, and some guys already recognise me. Oh, is this going to be another video? And I was like, another will be... No, maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. But it did turn into a video, so congratulations you. You're now on YouTube. Haha. not really a special thing. Here we are. We're going to play our Begleitpanzer more like an AFV then. So Port Storm, we can rush the middle, keep the flag under control, and boom, 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 blow him up with a 57mm gun. It does get an autoloader, which is quite different for a light tank. As you saw, the Stingray before gets a 100mm single shotgun, or, you know, one fire, reload, fire another round, reload. Begleitpanzer, on the other hand, has 8 rounds in its clip. Quite an effective little 57mm gun for its tier. Fires AP, HE, and gets an ATGM, unlike the Stingray does. The ATGM sort of sets it more as a AFV to me, so it gets an autocannon and it gets an ATGM, as well as being highly mobile, and surprisingly it bounces some rounds that you would not expect, which you will see in a minute or so, that it does bounce odd rounds off the front glacis because it is so heavily angled. And the 57mm gun can make short work of it, because look at that, they have an MBT 70, a tier 6 in a tier 5 game. That 152mm gun can do some serious damage to my little vehicle here, my little Begleitpanzer. Right then, he's not here at the moment. There is a swing fight, and, well, short work at him, 66 damage with the 57, easy peasy. But we only fired 1 round there. One thing you have to get into the habit of in your autoloader is every time you fire your rounds, every time you're in the clear of not being shot by your enemies, you have to reload your gun. It's so helpful. MBT 70 bounces off my upper glacis. I come over, 8 rounds in the clip. Here we are, side shot and another side shot. Finish off the MBT 70 there. He must be raging. His 152mm gun bounces off the front of the Begleitpanzer, and then my 57mm gun penetrates him twice and kills him. Here's a Leopard 1A5. Let's see how well our 57 can eat him alive. Come down. I don't mind if I take a shot from them, but yeah, look at that. The sheer damage of them. 772 damage within relative 5 seconds or something. The autoloader of the Begleitpanzer does fire a bit slower than the other 30 mils. It is because it's a high caliber autoloader, so you just got to bear with it for a sec. It's about half a second between each shot. Another Leopard 1A5, finding the good shots on him. He fires at me. I'm more than happy to take the hit, but then disaster. T-72 Ural hits me and does 456 damage. It could have been worse. Always look on the bright side, he could have been firing a heat round at me, which would have done probably about 600 to 650 damage, which I particularly do not want to take that sort of damage. Where is he? There's a BMP2 heading this way. Full HP. Missed the first shot, but the second, the third, and the fourth shot do connect to him, dealing 640 damage, which he probably did not want to take, leaving him on very low HP, or mid HP. There's the Ural. Ural fires. Reload my autocannon as well, because I don't know if any other vehicles, such as the Fox, the BMPs, or the Begleitpanzers, are going to rush me. I don't know where they are. They could be anywhere. Reload onto the 8 rounds again. There's the Ural. Rush round, and boom, 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 boom. Straight through the side, and completely eat him. 856 damage within that relatively short amount of time. He is on a very low amount of HP. And as you saw there, the reverse speeds of these light tanks is very good for getting out of these troubles. One thing I should mention are retrofits on your light tanks. What retrofits should you go for? Well, accuracy and firepower are quite nice, but accuracy is always a good one to put on. Personally, I usually go with gyroscopes and thermal sleeves on light tanks. Get that rate of fire down, get that aim time down, and allow them to become a bit more on the sort of accuracy firing side. Not so much on the firepower side. They don't really need it. They've already generally fast firing, so you can do the DPM. On the Begleitpanzer here, I have the experimental propellant, because it's always nice to have on an autoloader with this sort of firepower. It's a one-off, I should say. I do say don't do it, but it's a one-off. Chrome barrel lining is always really helpful. The Begleitpanzer is not very accurate. It's about 0.14 degrees spread, which is terrible. It's not very good at all. So the chrome barrel lining brings that down. And then for the mobility one, I put on the enhanced drive terrain to try and get that turret traverse speed to increase. Reload the autoloader again, and the BMP was last spotted here. We had 3 shots in our clip before, and it's taken us 3 shots to take him out. If we had missed one of those rounds with the three rounds in our clip, he would have killed us. But we reloaded. We had 8 rounds, 3 to kill him. We had plenty, 5 rounds to miss, and finish him off, doing 4,293 damage, leaving us on 117 at the end of the game. Brilliant. Light tanks are very, very, very capable. Every class is capable. Every tank is capable. Just, you've got to try and play them correctly. If you're playing them aggressively and you're dying, sit back a bit. Play a few games sitting at the back. See how well you do there. Whichever one you prefer, whichever one you play best, that's how you must play your vehicle. If the team starts calling you a noob because you're not playing it how they want, ignore them. If you're doing well and you're helping the team by doing what you're doing, carry on doing that. It's more than good. Gold medal. What's that? Top damage by far. Over 2,000 damage between me and the next guy. Top on kills, second on assists, second on spots, and top on reputation. Quite good. Quite good. The enemy team did get completely and utterly destroyed. A fox doing 20 damage. Not too bad. 31 shots fired, 23 hits, not a master gunner. That's what I mean by the accuracy of the Begleitpanzer. Not brilliant. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something new about the light tank class. I hope I've improved your gameplay slightly. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.